when these developments happen in a big city like it has happened in Milan, it raises questions about, large-scale law and order situation. If there was something that happened within the building or the premises, we don't know as of now. What we can tell our viewers right now is there is a huge explosion that has hit the city. The visuals on your screen, you can see the big black smoke that has engulfed the skies in that city. There are various vehicles that were parked in the vicinity that caught fire. The vehicles also caught fire and they've been ablaze. Pathikrit is with us on the broadcast. Pathikrit, so I'm going to move with a very cautious presumption and talk more about the law and order situation, how Western Europe has been under the radar of various terror organizations, how lone wolf attacks have become very common in Western Europe. You were talking about the expanse of these terror groups in the recent years. Can you take us through the developments? What has happened? How have they changed their MO, their modus operandi?
Well, two things. Time since the end of the war in Syria and then in Libya when Gaddafi was neutralized by, people who were against him with the support, of course, of United States. There has been a massive influx of illegal immigrants both from Middle East and from Northern Africa. It is not that illegal immigrants per se become terrorists, but there are many elements from them itself who might be extremely radicalized. And you see, this is the trend which has been happening in the whole of Western Europe, including France, Spain, Italy. United Kingdom has seen this huge rise in the incidence of radicalism. Yeah. Now, from that, if some people decide to do an act of terror, it cannot be ruled out. The other thing is that over the last 1 or 2 years, the whole focus of Europe has been to fight the war or funding the war in Ukraine against Russia. So when it comes to issues within Europe, they have completely been neglected. If you see the larger trend, there are many things happening in Europe. You have massive protests happening, massive law and order situation happening in countries like France. There are secessionist forces rising all over again. And the terrorism which Europe had thought is gone because ISIS is off the news or Al-Qaeda is off the news or United States presume that war on terror is over. I think that illusion is breaking right now. Italy per se have not seen this kind of major terror attack, but some right-wing politicians over there have been cautioning about the possibility of such things because, as I mentioned, the massive influx of illegal immigrants from Northern Africa, most of whom come from countries which are themselves mired in major terror attacks or literally civil war-like situation where the Islamist terror groups are trying to, topple government and take over the control. So in that kind of a scenario, even if 100-odd people are there who are extremely radicalized, a few of them can do something like that. It's not surprising. We have to wait for confirmation. But
Pathikrit, stay with us on the broadcast. I do want to ideate with you on various aspects, Western politics, Italy, the kind of issues it has seen in the recent times. But here on CNN News 18, we are putting out the information which is confirmed as of now. Several vehicles are in flames in the center of Milan in northern Italy after an explosion. Local sources have confirmed to us. The local police also said that a van had caught fire because of this explosion. Further details, the cause of why this happened, how this happened, we don't know yet. We'll wait for the confirmation. The footage, as you can see on your screen right now, it's from Milan's Porta Romana neighborhood. It shows high, fumes of black smoke, and firefighters are present on the scene right now. There's huge panic which has been caused to the people because this is the center of the city. This is one of the most busiest areas in the city of Milan. Pathikrit continues to stay with us on the broadcast. Pathikrit, thinking aloud with you once again over the law and order situation, the immigration which has been a subject of discussion over the last couple of years in Western Europe, not just in Italy, whether it's UK, whether it's the Netherlands, whether it's Germany, France. In all these countries, we have seen quote-unquote multiculturalism, immigration, the kind of attacks which are happening, the expanse of the terror network. All of these issues have been complexly intertwined and have dominated the political discourse.
Well, absolutely. There are two things.
Yeah.
Multiculturalism per se is not a problem, but the issue is that when you have a massive influx of immigrants coming and they are trying to project and impose their way of life, not getting acclimatized or accepting the way of life of the countries they have come to, then the problems arise. And these fissure points or the areas of fissures are then capitalized upon by radical extremist organizations to propagate their views and create strong sentiments against the very country where these immigrants have come into. Secondly, the problem for whole of Europe is that they have been entirely in denial about the possibility of major terror attacks happening again, as had happened in the last decade. So this is the issue. The second is the political focus, if you see, of Europe today is entirely on two things. Number one, the issue of the war happening between Russia and Ukraine, and number two, containing China. They have forgotten that there are other major pertinent challenges that Europe itself faces. Europe should stop becoming the moral police of the rest of the world and try to focus on managing the issues of themselves. What happens, Anusha, is this. When you have a large number of illegal immigrants coming into your country, you in the name of liberalism, you have brought them in, but you can't give employment to all of them. You cannot feed all of them. Then what happens that their anger against the state where they've come in starts rising. And of course, there are major religious differences and other differences, which then get, amplified in some kind of an attack like this. Well, we have to remember, if you see this attack, it's I'm not trying to confirm it. If you see what happened in case of Tamil Nadu or in case of the attack in Karnataka in the last, say, few months, you see there are these lone wolf attacks where they create this kind of some kind of equipment or an IED, but because they are made by rudimentary
and as Pathikrit also points out, these are just informed opinions and these are just informed possibilities per se that we're discussing at this point in time. A very sensitive story. We're treading cautiously. The confirmed details I'll once again reiterate for the benefit of our viewers. The video you can see on your screen, these are several vehicles that have caught fire. This entire blast, it has rocked the city centre in Milan in northern Italy. This is an explosion that has been reported. The exact cause, how it happened, we don't know. But of course, at this point, the entire law and order situation, or whether it was some kind of an attack that has been witnessed, that cannot be ruled out.